My name is Sophia. I live in a small town called Willow Creek, a quiet place where the streets are lined with maple trees and the smell of rain always seems to linger in the air. I'm 28 years old, and I work at a tiny bookstore on Main Street. Life here is slow, predictable, and safe, but lately, safe has started to feel lonely. It had been 3 months since Mark left. 3 months since he told me he loved me but couldn't stay. 3 months since I learned that sometimes love isn't enough. I still remember the hollow feeling in my chest as he walked away, the way my hands shook as I touched the empty space where he had been. To cope, I started writing letters. Letters I never intended to send. I wrote about the nights I cried alone, about the dreams I had tucked away, about the small joys that reminded me I was still alive. I wrote about him, about me, about the silence that seemed to stretch endlessly around me. I put each letter into an envelope, sealed it, and placed it on a shelf in my apartment. Some days I wrote 10 letters. Some days I didn't write at all. One rainy afternoon, I was walking to the bookstore, holding my umbrella against the wind, when I slipped into my usual cafe to warm up. I ordered my coffee and sat by the window, staring at the streets blurred by rain. That's when I noticed a man in the corner, holding a notebook, scribbling quickly, oblivious to the storm outside. His eyes lifted and met mine for a moment, polite but curious. A week later, he returned, and we started talking. His name was Ethan. He said he came here to write, to escape the noise of the city. I told him about my letters, about how I wrote to stay sane. He listened carefully, really listened, without judgment. "Can I see them?" he asked softly. I hesitated. "They are private." "I understand," he said, "but I promise I won't read them unless you want me to. I want to understand you." Something in his tone made me trust him. That night, I handed him one of my envelopes. He didn't rush. He didn't comment. He just held it gently, like it was made of glass. Over the next few weeks, our friendship grew. Ethan and I would meet at the cafe after my shift, talk for hours about books, music, and dreams we had almost forgotten. Sometimes the rain would pour outside, and we'd sit by the window, sipping coffee and watching the streets glisten. One evening, as droplets ran down the glass, I handed him another letter. "These are my confessions," I said quietly. "The parts of me I can't say aloud." He smiled softly. "Then I'll keep them safe. They are yours." Slowly, I began to trust again. I laughed at his jokes, shared old memories, and told him stories I hadn't told anyone else. My letters, my words, my heart, they were no longer locked away in a shelf, hidden from the world. Someone was holding them, not to use them against me, but to understand me. Then one day, I made a mistake. I wrote a letter about my fear of love, about how I had been broken once, and didn't know if I could risk it again. I left it on the table in the cafe, forgetting that Ethan would be there. When he arrived, he picked it up. I froze. "Please, don't read it," I whispered. "I already did," he said gently. "And I think you're braver than you know. You've survived heartbreak, and you've still opened your heart to life. That's rare, Daniela. That's beautiful." Tears filled my eyes. I didn't know why, but I felt seen, truly seen, for the first time in a long time. As winter approached, the rain became snow, and our letters turned into notes, little messages left in each other's pockets or under coffee cups. Every note was a reminder I wasn't alone. My heart could heal. Love could exist again, not the reckless, painful kind, but the quiet, patient, and steady kind. One snowy evening, we walked through the park. The world was silent except for the crunch of snow beneath our feet. I stopped and turned to him. "Ethan, what if love doesn't have to hurt?" I asked. He looked at me, his eyes warm and steady. "Then we do it differently," he said. "We take it slow, we take care of each other, and we never hide." I smiled, feeling the weight in my chest lift, feeling the warmth of hope return. That night, I wrote my last letter, not to be sent, not to be kept, but as a reminder to myself. I wrote, "I am ready to love again. I am ready to be seen. I am ready to be whole." And for the first time in months, I felt it, the calm, the peace, the quiet joy that comes when you realize that heartbreak can be healed, and that love, the right kind of love, can be real.